Hi everybody, Harvey here from Growth Properties Group. Today I thought I'd just quickly touch on responsibilities for maintenance and repairs, who's responsible. So whether you own a property yourself or you're managing it on behalf of a landlord, you'll always when you're managing properties, you'll always come into a point where there's a little dispute as the tenant thinks it's the landlord's responsibility and the landlord thinks it's the tenant's responsibility. So if you own a property yourself or you manage it on behalf of somebody else, it's always a fantastic idea to go off and research and know exactly who's responsible for what. So if you look on government websites, Shelter, these other websites, there's plenty of information out there nowadays with our good friend Google. But if you look at and get a clear definition of what's the landlord's responsibilities and what is the tenant's responsibilities, when you move a tenant in, you can then manage the expectation, whether it's you moving the tenant in yourself or managing agent moving in a tenant. And either way, even if you're a landlord and have a managing agent manage it for you, you want to know yourself what the managing agent should be getting them to be responsible for. And vice versa, if you're a tenant and you live in a property, you want to know yourself, what is my responsibility, what's the landlord's responsibility. So getting a clear and understanding of that is very, very advisable. So what we do is we make sure it's clear in our AST, which the tenant is responsible when they sign that, and quite often point out little bits that come up all the time, like decorating, gardens and whatnot. So also, damp is a massive one that comes up all the time, so it's down to the tenant to make sure the property is well ventilated. So if damp is getting caused by condensation, then obviously it's the tenant's responsibility, not the landlord. If damp being caused by a problem with the structure of the property or guttering, something like that, then it's the landlord's responsibility. There's lots of areas, so what we found best is managing expectations from the start, from our own properties that we manage for myself and for ones we manage for other landlords. So we can then have a clear sheet, which we have created, a clear sheet that shows the tenant and the landlord, or myself, as I'm the landlord of some of my own properties, who's responsible for what. So structure, main maintenance, it's the landlord. Keeping the property tidy, gardens, keeping the property well ventilated is a tenant. There is more, it's just to touch on a few, but look into it. Have a look a lot of the free information that's out there. We have a sheet as well that advises it. It's also advisable, as I said, if you manage it for tenants, to have a sheet for them to give them the education, and if you manage for landlords on behalf of them, let them know as well. Hope you found that useful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and share it to somebody, or to somebody you may think finds it useful.